and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make the bedroom of the little ski lodge. So I have a bed, a side table, I have a washstand, and I have the little rocking chair. This little rocking chair is from another company, and I think it was the little cuckoo clock that was also from another company. And I think, if I'm not remembering wrong, that they are closing down their store, so I'm not sure you can get those parts anymore. And if you ask me, it's not that good of a quality, because that was made of a thicker paper thingy, where this bed and the other things are made of thin wood. Anyway, I am taking these 3 parts for the bed and I'm just gluing them together nice and easy. I left it to harden for around an hour, so that I was totally sure that it was all hardened and was completely glued together. And then I am using my sand brown here with a tiny bit of my walnut brown in it, and I am going to paint the bed with this mixture. I am painting the sides of the bed, but not the top part where you're lying, because that's no need. And the bottom part, I actually think I didn't paint that as well. And I'm making sure that I get into all these small score lines that is here, making some nice details on the little bed. And now for the fun part. I'm going to take a piece of thick cardstock, and I am making a piece here that fits the bed, so that I can make some bedding for this little cute thing. So I'm measuring, and then I'm going to cut this piece out. Then I have some of these foam washcloths. I think that was so butchered, but oh well, I'm not gonna say that again. Anyway, these are for one-time use, but they are perfect for making pillows and stuff like that in 1 to 12, and as you can see here, in 1 to 48. Then I figured out what kind of fabric I wanted for the bed sheeting here, and I cut out a piece that have the same length but is wider, because we don't need to wrap it around at the top and the end of this little thing, because you won't see that when it's on the bed. Then I'm just using my tacky glue on the fabric, folding it over and gluing it onto the paper, and doing the same in the other side. And with a tiny bit of my tacky glue here on the bed, I am just going to glue this all down, and then we have the mattress for the little bed. For pillows and blanket, I cut 2 more pieces of fabric, a fabric I liked, and I cut another piece of that foam thing for the little pillow. And this time I am gluing first the end pieces here. Again, I'm using my tacky glue because that works perfect on fabric, making sure I don't have too much of an end to fold in. And then I am just going to glue these long ends here and fold them in over each other, and this way I make a little pillow with a little foam in there. So it's very easy actually. There we go. And I am going to glue this to the bed with the bad side down, the glued side down, so you don't even see that it is glued together. So again, just using a tiny bit of my tacky glue where I think the little pillow will hit the bedding or the bed. So now for the little blanket. This time I am using a paper glue or a school glue, a white glue, because I want it to be more wet than the tacky glue. And I am just smothering glue all over the little piece of fabric that I'm using for the blanket. And then I am folding it and twisting it and placing it on the bed where I want it. And I'm just gonna leave it to dry right there, and it will keep the shape really nice. Then we have the little side table here for the bed. So let's open that and see what's in the bag. Again, a lot of tiny pieces and the how-to. So this is one of the same kind of furniture as the couch. You start with the back piece with the legs on, then you glue 4 of these together and into the middle, then the front piece with the leg, and then the top part at last. And then you have the little furniture. So let's do that with the tacky glue. Before I am gluing the front on, I am going to take a dark gray paint and I'm gonna paint that piece here, because there is this little heart cut out in the front, and I want this to be black or dark gray underneath. So I'm doing that, leaving that to dry for a little, and then I will glue on the front. I painted this in the walnut brown. I did not show you because that was just a painting of the furniture, and now I am dry brushing with a very light brown color, and I decided to do it on the bed frame as well, trying not to touch the bedding at all. And then I think these 2 furnitures are almost ready to go into the room. I have these small screws here, really tiny screws, or it's actually more nuts and bolts. And then I have these backings for earrings, and I'm taking one of these small bolts and I am popping that into that little earring thing, and that makes a cute little nightstand. So I'm just gonna super glue that to the little table, and then I have a little cute nightstand on the little table. And I glued that in place in the little room. Looking good so far. Then I have this little wash stand, and I am going to make a little bowl and a little, what do you call that, jug, to stand on it later. But first we are going to put it together. This one has a few more pieces in there than the other ones have had. So I am just dry fitting here to make sure I know what to do. And then I am going to glue this little middle part here together with the legs. This is kind of like a bottom shelf on this little table here. So gluing the legs together with that one. Then I found that it was easier to glue in that little top piece right away, because it needs to go in between the leg parts here. Let's take my pliers and keep it there with the glue, and then just place it carefully where it needs to go, just like that. Very cute. And then the back end here and the 2 side pieces. And I am using my tacky glue for this. then first the back piece and then the two side pieces here. You could leave these out if you don't like them, but I think they're kind of cute and make sure everything will stay in place while washing. So I am gluing that together. I left the glue to harden half an hour before I painted it in the blue color that we made for the windows and the doors in the house, so everything is fitting together. Left that after I think 2 or 3 coats of the blue. Then I left that to dry completely, and now I am dry brushing it with a white color just to make it look a little more old and worn, and I think that turned out pretty neat. So it is time to place that in the little house. I'm not gluing this one because I want to make the details before I glue it in, and the details will first come next week. Now to this little rocking chair. I really thought that this was made of wood pieces just like every other furniture we have built so far, but this is just a thick cardstock, so be careful while gluing. I made a kind of a mistake, and that almost ruined the little chair for me. I think I'm showing it, I'm not sure if I do. Anyway, let's find all the pieces and the how-to here. And I am going to start with gluing the legs together. We need this little square piece, and I'm gluing on the side and gluing that onto the first of these pieces. And then I'm gluing it to the other side of the other piece and on top of the seat right away. And that's where I made my little mistake, because I didn't center it right, so I really had to take it off and glue it on better. And I kind of ripped the top layer of the seat while removing it again, so that was not that good. So just be aware of that and center your legs right away. Then I am gluing the backrest onto the seat, and then the armrest to the seat and the backrest. So it is kind of a easy build, but you need to watch what you're doing so that you don't mess it up like I did. I don't think I show you that I had to take off those parts again, the bottom parts. But now you know, I actually did make that little mistake here. Leave that to dry for at least an hour so you're sure everything is nice and stuck down. I painted the little rocking chair white, and it took 3 coats of white before it was white enough for me. Then I took some of my walnut colored paint, and I am dry brushing this little chair all over with that color to make it again look a little aged, or like the white paint is kind of crumbling and falling off, wear and tear, and I actually think it turned out really neat. I cut out a tiny piece of cardboard that is fitting on the seat of my little rocking chair, and now I am cutting out a piece of fabric that I like for this little rocking chair to have on the seat. Again, I'm using a tiny bit of the foam here, and I am going to glue this together just like I did with the pillow for the bed. If you looked really closely, you would see that the little piece of cardstock actually flew away from me when I was cutting out the little polstering for this little seat. So I had to take a break and go find it before I could continue. But I'm gluing the sides in here, then I am cutting off the length, and then I'm gluing that and twisting it over, gluing it down on itself, and I'm doing that on the other side as well. And then all there is to do is to glue it onto the seat of the little rocking chair. This is all you get today, and next time we are going to make all the fun small details for the little house. I even 3D printed a little man that I'm going to paint and place in there, and then we will see how it ends, and it should be all done next week. So thank you for watching today. I hope you had fun with this one. I did, and I wish you happy crafting.